Welcome to the Rachel Holmes Lifestyle Show. How are you? This one just completely warmed my heart. It was amazing to meet Dr. Gabrielle. She's phenomenal. She is a healer. She's a yoga teacher. She has an amazing practice based in Florida, and I know that you're going to be so inspired. You can actually feel the energy bouncing off the screen. Her passion, her interest, her excitement is just phenomenal. Make sure that when you watch the video, you go and check out Dr. Gabrielle and say hello to her. If you love these videos, please share them on all your social media platforms, and of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Gabrielle, it's great to have you here. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. Now, the first question I always ask all my guests is, what's the backstory? How did you get here? Your life experiences. Where are you at this point in time? Love that.
It's been a very long journey. I mean, I've been in the health and wellness industry for about 20 years, and I landed here unexpectedly. When I was a kid, I left home at 17 and I went to New York to be a model. I thought I was going to be like a celebrity, famous model, actor, singer, dancer, whatever. I'd studied like theater and dance and everything. And then actually my mom got sick and passed away when I was 21. And so I went back home, and all of a sudden, all the kind of big life questions, like why are we here? What's the purpose of my life? What am I doing? All of that just kind of came rushing in. And I also had this pretty powerful spiritual experience at her funeral of just kind of seeing life in a whole different perspective and being connected to her, like out of her body. And I didn't know what was happening, and so I had to seek out all of these spiritual mentors and teachers, and I dove into Eastern philosophy and Zen practices and meditation and yoga and energy healers, and I started studying and learning everything that I could so that I could understand what it is to be human and what I was supposed to be doing with my life. And that led to just a lifelong study and practice, where I went to massage school, I did some yoga certifications, I did my Ph.D. research about women healers. So I interviewed women healers from around the world that were practicing different kinds of medicine. And then I was invited to teach. So the last 10 years, I've been teaching at university, holistic health and mind-body medicine courses, which led me to where I am today, which is I'm mentoring and supporting other healers to do their work. I have coaching programs and courses and books and podcasts and stuff to really empower and support health, wellness, fitness people to really come more fully into their practice, to put their work into the world, to, find their voice, find their story, help other people. Because I really feel like you get to a certain point where you need to kind of turn around and look at the generation behind you. Like, I'm 42, and I feel like now is the time to kind of look at all of my students who are coming out with different degrees and things, and kind of, support them and advise and empower them to also do the work. So that's the short version of the story.
Wow, that's a lot, job. So a healer. So being a healer, what does that kind of consist of? What does it look like on a daily basis?
Right. So I'm grounded in the holistic paradigm of healing. Holistic meaning that, healing is your mind, it's your body, it's your spirit, it's your environment, it's your relationships, it's your finances, it's all of these things. And we need to have a holistic approach to balancing and managing all of these things. I'm someone who believes that if your mind isn't right, your body isn't going to be right. If your body isn't right, your mind isn't going to be right. So we can't ignore the different pieces, but we really have to, bring all the pieces into balance as best we can. We're never going to be like perfect. And healing to me is holding a space and providing tools to people to do the work they need to do to kind of come back into that balance. So all the women that I interviewed in my dissertation, they all said the same thing, which is, I don't do anything to you. Right. In the Western model, there's this kind of doctor perspective of like, I give you medicine, I fix you, or I do surgery, I fix you. But in the holistic paradigm, we believe that the body is a self-healing mechanism, that it's very intelligent, that each and every cell has intelligence, and that if we can hold a space for you and give you tools you need, like maybe it's supplements, maybe it's an exercise routine, maybe it's a spiritual practice like meditation, that your body is going to find its way to wholeness. It's going to find its way to balance. So that's a very kind of unique perspective on healing, and that's the kind of stuff that I teach and do.
Wow, that's amazing. So who comes to you, Gabrielle? How do they find you? And what kind of problems are people looking for? What answers are they looking for, probably?
Well, it's taken a lot of different kind of iterations over the years. When I first started, I was doing mostly massage therapy, physiotherapy, bodywork stuff with people. And that was a lot of people with car accidents, back injuries, head traumas, like things like that, like a lot of kind of physical ailments. And then the more I started to study the energy and the spirituality, the more it started to become clear that a lot of the physical pain was about belief systems, or about the ways people were treating themselves, or about different mindset things. And that started to become a lot more of my focus. And so my teaching also, like I started my first teaching assignment back in 2005 was I taught a massage therapy program. And now, after teaching for 10 years, now I'm teaching graduate students who are doing research about Akashic records or female empowerment, or using meditation for grief, and I mean just all these beautiful, amazing projects. And so I've seen a real evolution in my own work, and then also I think people are becoming more open to the mind-body connection. I think we're moving more and more in that direction, where people are seeing how much their mind affects their body, in the same way that we've learned so much about nutrition and food and stuff in the last decade. Like if you said to somebody 10 years ago, that wheat would affect their mindset, or maybe they think you were crazy, but now we've gotten to that place really where we understand the interconnectedness. And so, my work has changed a lot. Mostly I spend 50% of my time teaching now, and 50% of my time helping other healers to do their work.
Love that. So if somebody, and probably lots of people who are watching and listening to us right now, they probably, and we get this all the time, people are doing what they think is all the right stuff. They're eating, they've got rid of the gluten and the wheat and the dairy, and they've cut down on the alcohol, and, they are doing the regular exercise. But there's still things that are not quite right. Maybe they're not getting the results that they want. Maybe they are still getting little health niggles and issues, especially women in their 40s as they're going forward. And a lot of it comes down to mindset. We can give people all that information, but for some reason they might self-sabotage, or they kind of take 10 steps forward and then 11 steps back. And they know it's a mindset issue. So where do you start with that kind of problem or issue?
I think it's natural. I think it's so normal and natural. I think that we're conditioned by family, friends, teachers, school, society to think a certain way, and we need to learn all those things because we need to get through school and family and life and society. And we get to certain points where we hit a wall where we're trying to get somewhere and we can't quite get there. And when we really do the introspection and the examination, we realize it's because my mom said that rich people are greedy jerks or something, right? So oh my God, now I can't get that salary that I want because I don't want to be a rich greedy jerk, or with the weight loss, it's maybe there's an underlying trauma, maybe you were bullied or something about your weight, and now you don't recognize that this is kind of alive in you, but when you really do the deeper work, you can see that something's there. What I love about holistic health and all of the tools that are out there is that these things are easy to change. We've learned in the last 20, 30 years that the brain is malleable, that we have neuroplasticity, that we can change the ways that our brain is wired. My dad went to medical school in the 70s. He was a neurologist. There was no such thing as neuroplasticity and how you can change your brain. But now we know if you repeat new thoughts, if you repeat new habits, you can change your reality, you can change your experience, you can change your body. All of these things can be adjusted, and there's unlimited tools that you can use, right? You can use all the meditation, mindfulness, affirmations, different techniques like EMDR, brain spotting. I mean, there's just NLP, hypnosis. There's just so many things that you can use to transform your life. It's very exciting.
Very exciting. It's so exciting. God. On the spiritual angle, what does kind of being a spiritual person kind of mean? Is it a religious angle? Is it a meditation? What does being spiritual actually mean?
I've found that more and more my students and friends and colleagues are moving towards an idea of spirituality that's much more grounded in their personal experience of being connected to something larger than themselves, being connected to the earth, having a sense of mission and purpose to make somebody else's life better than their own. It's much more in line with kind of, I think, the psychological pyramid that Maslow developed of this self-actualization, like reaching a fuller potential, serving someone beyond yourself. I really think that's kind of where we are. Mm-hmm. My spirituality is mostly Eastern. I've practiced 15 years of Buddhist meditation, and I have multiple yoga certifications. So my personal spirituality, I have Tara here. She's looking at me on the windowsill. Tara is like a goddess in Tibet who, she is the embodiment of healing energy. So I'm very much on the Eastern side of things. But I think people are really tapping into a spirituality that's about connecting to themselves, their body, the earth, each other, purpose, mission, and I think they're moving away more from the kind of fundamentalist practices of religion.
Oh my gosh, I could talk to you forever. This is amazing. You are amazing. So when a client comes to work with you, Gabrielle, where do you start? What is the starting point? Is everybody different, or do you have a kind of a set program that you start somebody off with?
It's a good question. I mean, I try to meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
I mentioned to you before we started this call that right before we jumped on this interview, I was working with a client. She is a new health and wellness coach, and she was crying because she's struggling financially to make it work. But I know for a fact that she came from a poor family, and that she has some mental habits and patterns around money and around scarcity that she's going to need to break through if she's going to be a successful entrepreneur. I have other women, like I did some body work and energy work with a woman last week who has MS. Mm-hmm. And I was working on her body, and I kept saying, your body is so unhappy. I'm sorry to tell you this, but your body is telling me that it's not happy, and it wants more movement and more relaxation and all of these things. And she's been in a job for a really long time that she hates, and she's just stuffing it into her body, and her body's getting bloated, inflamed, like holding water, and her body is like holding all of this, all these emotions, and just, so there's so many different ways that we can get stuck, or that we can stuff things, or that I would work with someone depending on where they're at and what kind of information I'm getting from them, either from their body or from their stories.
Wow, this is such a fascinating. So look, kind of turning the conversation to you, your morning routine. We know how we read about morning. We're looking up and down. We're looking at all these successful people that have this fabulous morning routine. And I love to always ask the guests, what's your morning routine, Gabby?
I'm inconsistent. I don't think I'm a good model for morning routine because I'm inconsistent. So I'll go through these phases. Like last spring, I did like this 30-day yoga thing where I had to get up every day and start doing yoga at 7 a.m. and eat, vegan diet for 30 days and whatever. And then I'll fall off, and I'll have like where I'm sleeping in, and I'm just petting the cat, and I'm like, I'm inconsistent. What I am is I'm committed. Like even when I'm inconsistent, I'm committed to trying to be the best version of myself every day. And if that, like right now I have an elderly cat and she's really, really ill. And so I'm up most nights with her because she's sick. So my routine is off. But my commitment is to like make sure that the end of her life that she's taken care of. And that's my priority. And that's where I put my energy and my focus. So I go with the flow of my life, but just showing up with the intention to do the best to take care of the people and animals around me, do the best I can to take care of myself, and also give myself a break. Like if I fall off and I'm not being like the perfect healthy person, I also try to not beat myself up about it and just get back into a routine when I can. So my routine is a little bit off at the moment because
I love that
you my cat.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. Everyone watching this will be like, phew, that's great. Because Gabrielle sounds so amazing and she's got an inconsistent morning routine. That's fantastic. I love that. For somebody that is really wanting to change their mindset, are there any simple tips or strategies that people could perhaps use on a daily basis? Anything that you would say, yeah, that's a really good thing to do, when you're doing this, or anything you could suggest?
My recent addiction is Abraham Hicks. Do you know Abraham Hicks?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know who it is, there's a woman and she channels what she says are non-physical, she doesn't call them spirits, she calls them vibrations or entities or something, but she channels these this wisdom, and I've been listening to it like constantly recently, because what she teaches specifically is that whenever you hear a thought that is charged with negative emotion or it has negativity in it, to reach for a better feeling thought. Just the next, you don't have to go from, oh, like, I'm so fat to like, I'm so thin and amazing. Like, you don't have to make this like ridiculous leap, but what you have to do is you have to find the next best thought that you can believe and practice in your mind. So like, I'm doing a really good job of taking care of myself. I really like myself. I think I'm a good person. I think I could be an even better person. And you start to kind of find the talk that takes you higher and uplifts you. And if you continue to practice this, you continue to raise your energy, your emotions, your vibration. And instead of using some kind of therapeutic thing that's really heavy and serious, you're using a really fun, light practice to get higher and higher in your mindset and your thinking and your feeling and your energy. And so whatever I do, I like for it to be fun.
Yeah.
I want to have fun. I'm really into comedy. I'm like a comedy improv actor, and I make these parody videos, and I like to have fun. And so I want my practices also to be fun and even funny sometimes. And I think we can get really serious about health and wellness.
Very
and I want to have fun. So I've been listening to that a lot and trying to practice happy thoughts.
That's a great idea. Okay, and I bet, is there a podcast?
There's like 1 million videos on YouTube. If you put in Abraham Hicks on YouTube, there's 1 million.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are you reading right now? Are you a fiction or your personal development?
Let's see. We can look at the Kindle. The last book that I read was The Energy Cure, which was recommended by one of my healers that I go to. And it's about the evidence of energy medicine. And I read that this past week. And I read a lot of memoir because I write. So another friend of mine, she wrote a book called Where in the Om Am I? That's on my list of Kindle books. She transitioned from corporate job to being a yoga teacher. I read a lot of nonfiction therapy type books, a lot of personal memoir stories. Oh, we mentioned before the call, Jonathan Field's book, How to Live a Good Life. That just came out, so I read that. But yeah, there's like hundreds of books in my Kindle.
Yeah, gosh, I think everyone watching this video will want to know more about you. I can just feel your energy from the other side of the planet. It's just bouncing. I'm just loving talking to you. It's fabulous. Where can we find out more about you? Where's your digital home, and how can people come and say hello?
Yeah, I mean, you can come by my website. It's my name, GabriellePelicci.com, and there's all kinds of fun things there. Like, you can have a free consultation with me. I do free discovery calls with everybody because I love to talk to people. So you can have a conversation with me. My book is there, Blissful Business. My podcast is there. My whatever blogs and things are there. And you can find me at Dr. Gabby Pelicci on all social media like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter and all that stuff. But really, I love having conversations. So if anybody wants to have a conversation, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Oh, you might regret saying that. Everyone will be
I love it. I honestly do.
Yeah. This is just, I have never had a conversation about all the things that we've talked about with anyone before like this. So this is really unique. And I know that a lot of people over in the UK are going to be really interested. And it's been a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, this was fun.
Thank you.